Okay, so this is part 3 of this presentation about leaf comet actors. So now we get to the point from leaf rules. Leaf rules has a few options um, that affect Comet, like a few options that you might want to like customize here and there on your application. So one of them is Comet session command. This is something that Leaf will execute whenever your browser sends a request to the server for a specific comet, but that comet instance isn't found on the server. Now this might sound strange or something. The like most likely if this happens is because your server, your Leaf server, was restarted. So you restarted your server, all the comet instances that were in memory got lost. Then what do you do when that happens? Um, One of the options is you can tell it like by default, um, it will go ahead and it will just redirect back to the home page, but you can actually change that so that it will reload the same page that you're on. And if I'm not mistaken, we actually have plans for the next version of Leaf that the default action will be just reload the page that shows the comet. And most of the time that is what you want to do. Like if your comet like lost the connection to the server, just reload the page, it will recreate the comet and you can take it from there. Now what I have noticed by actually like investigating how this option works is that if you override the first no comment session command, you will also want to override no ajax session command to do the same. It could be because in my example I have both a comet and there was also some ajax going on. So just to notice, like I would just play safe and have both options override the same thing. And the type of this is a JS command. So again, you basically just call JavaScript from here. Then something else that you have in Leaf rules is Comet creation factory. This is a way to create a comet from code. It's used. One of the places where I saw this being used is in the lazy load snippet from Leaf. The code is actually pretty long, so I just included a URL. And if you search on our mailing list for lazy load, I'm sure you will find some examples and some pointers as to how it works. It's actually really useful, and I was very happy to see like how this was implemented. And then I also found out that the library reactive web also uses Comet Factory, Comet Creation Factory, to do some work. So those are like two places that I have seen this being used. I haven't seen anybody else use it, but I mean, who knows? Then another option that you have in Leaf rules is this volatile variable Comet server. It's a string, and again, not a lot of people are using this, but the idea is if you have like a wildcard DNS setting going on, like if you have like different DNS entries going to the same actual physical server, you can set the different names in here or the name that you want for all your Comet requests. So then anywhere in Leaf where it will like be okay, send a request to the server, instead of just doing okay, send it to and the default server, you will look at this value, and if it is set, it will use this value, especially on JavaScript files that Leaf generates to handle Comet. And speaking of that, so Comet, Leaf generates this comet.js file, kind of like on the fly, to generate, handle Comet for your application. But we do give you an option that you can overwrite this if by any reason like you think that there are changes that you want to make. This is the place where you can go ahead and change that, and we'll give you access. Like we'll give you the session, so if you need to different users different JavaScript files to handle Comet, well, this will be a place to implement that. Then timeouts. So there are a few timeouts that you can customize in Leaf. So this one, the Comet request timeout, is the time that it will take for the Comet to like finish its work. So by default, this value is 120 seconds. So you are if you send a message to your Comet actor, and it takes like I mean for the render, and it takes more than 120 seconds, then you will get an error message on the page, or well, if you are running in production, it will be just a log entry that as a developer you will see, and that's why you really don't want your Comet actors to take a long time to do the render of the page. But if by any chance you need more time, you can set this value to a lower, to a higher value. The other timeout that you have access to is the Comet failure retry, and this is how this tells Leaf that you want to wait this long, the value from here, when your Comet request fail. So the default is 10 seconds, and again, these are different values that you can like adjust to fit the needs of your application. Now, I said before, I think on the second video, that I was going to like publish an example application with some of the things I had covered on this presentation. So this is it, that's the URL, so you can clone that repository. I actually have a few other examples, some related to Comet and some related to just Live in general in there, so you can clone that repository, and then the branch that has this presentation is Comet-presentation. It comes bundled with SVT, so I try to make it very easy for everybody to just use it and start playing with it. So those are just like very simple steps that they need to use. So if you're not familiar with SVT, there it is. If you're familiar with SVT, you know what to do. So that's, yeah, I would include all kinds of information there, like sample that covers the different options that I cover on these 3 videos. And if anybody finds any problem with them, I'll go ahead and update the repository. And finally, thanks for watching this long, and I hope that you found this video, these 3 videos useful. And I guess if things go well, I might try making more videos like this. If you have any questions, so again, my name is Diego Medina. You can find me on Twitter at FMPWizard, so you can send me messages there or tweet or anything. You can also email me. That's my email address, diego@fmpwizard.com. And I'm always on the mailing list, so you can ask a question there, and if I can, I'll answer it there. And if not, others will help you there. That's definitely a good place to ask your questions. And finally, I have a blog, fmpwizard.telegram. You can check it out. Like, I try to update at least once a month, maybe a little more. Whenever I find something cool in Lyft, I try to blog about it. So thanks.